that didn't work. Okay. OBS crashed. Oh no, that's fine.
Oh, we're good.
It just didn't respond right when I hit the button, and I was like, "What's happening?" But it's here. It's here. We're here now.
We're good. Are we live? We're doing it live now.
And I was worried about a sneeze right before we went live. I was telling John, like, I really need to sneeze, and I hope it comes before the timer reaches 0. And then that was the worst of my concerns. But suddenly, then, yeah, OBS crashed, and then it didn't crash. Welcome to this catastrophe that we're calling Playhouse Live. John, how are you doing this fine Saturday evening?
You know what? I'm doing great. I'm happy we're doing this. I'm happy we're starting off strong. Like, I figured you and I would.
Starting as we mean to go on. For those who don't know us, we are Playhouse. We are a group of video game media reporter influencer people. It's not just me and John here that enthusiasts, video game enthusiasts. Not just me and John that you see here before you, but also others, Rose, Tim, Keith. You may know us from our reaction streams or some of our impressions videos. And yeah, we cover video games. We like talking about video games.
100%.
But this past week, me and John decided that there was a gap in our coverage. We thought that we need a sort of outlet to talk about the news, what's current. So this past Monday, me and John set out and we said, hey, this Saturday we'll try something. Let's see if it works. We'll talk about the news. We'll live stream it. We'll put it up as a podcast, and we'll just see how it goes. But John, I think we picked a pretty bad week to start this. Like,
I think we did.
Honestly, there's nothing to talk about. Nothing happened this week.
I was nervous this whole week. Like, man, there's nothing we're going to talk about. Like, we're just going to stare at each other for an hour and just. I like games. You like games. We're Playhouse, and I thought that was going to be it. Was looking at my Twitter thread. Was looking at Daniel Ahmad. Was looking for Jeff Grubb. Nothing happened. Absolutely. Nope.
No, just kidding. We have a lot to talk about this week. It's possibly the best and worst possible week we could have done this because there's just a lot of stuff to talk about. So I think since we have so much stuff to cover, we'll just jump right on into it. Yeah. So the first item of news today is, of course, the big news story of the week, which is the Xbox Series S reveal, the Xbox Series S and X price reveal, and the date.
Everything dropped.
Yeah, everything dropped. Started with a leak being the design of the Xbox Series S, showing the form factor and saying that it's going to be $299 US, the Xbox Series X $499 US, and both launching on November 10th. That was later confirmed by Xbox. John, first of all, price-wise, what do you think about both those SKUs?
You know what? I actually absolutely love the Series X at $499. I was scared that it was actually going to be a little bit higher with everything they've been telling us. Like, Phil Spencer's been like, hey, it's a premium console. It's the best place to play video games. It's the most powerful console. And so, like, every time we heard something, I'm like, oh, here we go. It's going to be $599, hopefully not $699. So I was actually very happy to see it at $499. The part that actually honestly blew my mind was the $299 SKU for the Series S. Mm-hmm. I didn't think they were going to go that low. And yeah, we're going to lose a little bit of power. We're going to lose a little bit comparative to the Series X, but like $299 is very competitive, and not just in general, but also toward, and I'll say it, toward the Switch.
Yeah.
And so like it really kind of like Xbox goes, you know what? We got to do something big. Let's go big or go home. So let's take on Sony, because now Sony has to react to this $499 price point, and now Nintendo almost has to react to a $299 price point.
Yeah. There were whispers this week of some Nintendo rumors bumping up the production on the Switch, talks of a 4K Switch. I'm not going to talk about those too much because those rumors are always floating about somewhere, the Switch Pro.
Every week.
Yeah, every week. So we could literally have that as topic number one every week in this show. But we'll wait until something a little more solid comes. Yeah. But no, we were talking, like, earlier this week when we were planning out this podcast, we were literally talking about how the radio silence from both Sony and Microsoft about prices and how it just keeps going week after week of nothing. and we're just like, when give people time to plan.
When are we gonna get something? I mean, I even wrote a piece at entertheplayhouse.com just going, we need something as gamers, as people. Like, we don't have anything, because that's the thing. Like, the not the Series X, but the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, they all announced in, what was it, February, and then May, and so giving us this like huge time to figure out what we're going to be doing. And this wasn't in a pandemic,
Right?
and now it's 2 months, 3 months away, and now we finally have a price point for one, and it's a very nice price point. But now we're like, okay, thank you, Xbox. I really do appreciate it. Now we can kind of start saving in a pandemic. But now it really is on Sony. I can't wait to see how Sony responds to this.
Well, it's funny you should say that, John, because right just today, seemingly in preparation for our podcast, Sony did announce their PS5 event next Wednesdays, September 16th at 1 p.m. Pacific time. 40-minute show going over some first-party exclusives and their worldwide partners. No confirmation that they are, in fact, going to announce a price and release date.
No. but okay, so I pulled up the PlayStation blog.
Right.
And it literally says, before PlayStation 5's launch this holiday, we want to give you one more look at some of the great games coming to PS5 at launch and beyond. And I'm like, is that your little hint of, well, here's the price, and the release date? Because ball's in your court now, Sony. So we've got to figure something out of what we're doing.
Yeah, there's an implication there. If they're talking about titles that are going to be there at launch, they're talking about a launch. They have a date in mind, and if they had a date in mind, why wouldn't they tell us?
Yeah, exactly.
But no, yeah, it seems like, I don't know if that was their plan the whole time to do it next week. But if it wasn't their plan before, they had to say something.
They had to, or maybe it was even because Phil Spencer came out and said in the tweets about all the releases and all the leaks is that Xbox was going to announce all of this next week. So, I mean, conspiracy hat on, I go, well, did like Microsoft and Sony kind of like shake on an agreement going, all right, we're just going to drop everything next week, and we're going to see where the chips fall and watch the fires and the gamers go nuts? Or was this just happenstance or now is this a response from Sony because Xbox actually finally decided to stop playing chicken, or someone else decided to stop playing chicken and made Xbox actually give us something?
Right. That sounds like backdoor shady deals. I do think it's a lot to do with the fact that the pre-orders go up for the Xbox X and S so soon. That they just want to get out before that so that people don't have only one thing to pre-order.
Well, the Xbox goes pre-orderable on Tuesday, and
does
that
it really?
Announcement from Sony, yeah.
Okay.
It is Tuesday the 22nd. So
interesting, yeah.
The Xbox pre-order will happen, and then we'll get the Sony announcements for PS5 of games, at least. And we'll say games right now because that's all they told us, but more first-party games.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they would have to either they should have moved it to Monday, or, I mean, I think Sony's usually a Wednesday or Thursday kind of release concept with them, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. You mentioned before that it was always Xbox's plan, supposedly, to next week show this off, and I feel like that got confirmed a little bit today. It was Games Radar I saw it on. I don't know if they were the source, but there was a leak of that full press briefing. Now I watched, I scrolled through that just because it was very long and not a lot of information was talked about. It was the two tweets that we saw, right? The Series X and S price points release date, and the Games Pass stuff, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But it was those two tweets in like a 30-minute video, and it was just a lot of interviews, a lot of talking. And so I don't know if this announcement of this price and release, I don't know if this is like a master strategy on the part of Phil Spencer's team. I think this is more of a triumph of Xbox PR responding to the leak. There was a good thread I have pulled up here by Jack Appleby talking about like the timeline of what went down. So yeah, in the middle of the night, the leaks happened.
Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
Labor Day weekend here in the States. Yes.
Yeah, I'll just read out the tweet. 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The situation. We've known Xbox will release 2 consoles this year, but only the Series X was confirmed. We had no details on the second console. Then Series S images leaked. First look at the console, first next gen price point. Major deal. Hit tech blogs immediately. And then that ran rampant on Windows Central. They seem to confirm the rumors. 2 in the morning, Xbox just tweeted out that meme of the monkey with the shifty eyes.
Yeah, they're like, oh crap.
Which is so perfect.
Genius.
You didn't have
Absolutely
to do
genius.
anything else at all. It was a nod to the people who knew and to the other people who weren't up at that time of the night. Just nothing. But yeah, at the time of this tweet thread, it got 21,000 retweets and 139,000 likes.
God.
Genius. Just an image.
It's yeah.
And then
And I'm with you. I actually give props to Xbox's PR team and their social media team of going, well, there's really nothing we can do. I'm sure someone called Phil in the morning going, hey, yeah, we got to do something. And he was probably like, just give him a meme. And he picked the best meme, actually. And I'm like, I don't know how you could have spun that any better.
Not even in the morning, like over the course of the night, like as Phil was going to bed, probably. It's just
he probably doesn't sleep too much, to be honest. You're
come
probably
on.
right.
Get Major Nelson on the phone. God damn it. You know?
And it was, I don't know, maybe I missed it, but it didn't seem like minus like the leaks, like there was and the prices and people just coming out of the woodwork to like bash, but it seemed like everyone was like, you know what, Xbox really pulled this one off in the sense of taking a leak and spinning it just right, where it's like, all right, we tried, we were going to do it next week, but things leaked. That's the thing of the internet, and here you go. We'll confirm it right now. Like they just really got on, not the defense, but just really did what they needed to actually make this more of a positive. And let's again be honest, the price point really does help this up and down.
Right. Yeah, even if this wasn't the plan, I'm sure to an extent this was a plan. Like the response, like they had like a document somewhere sitting where it's like, if
Charlie Day concept,
if stuff leaks, yeah, if shit leaks, do the following.
Where does it leak from? We go this way.
Yeah.
Okay, what about this way? Yeah, I'm sure they had just a whole concept of different things they were going to go through.
Super good. And honestly, I think worked out for the better. If you had announced that press briefing that leaked today and I had to like go and like do live reactions to that and sit through that, I would have been way more pissed off by the end.
See, and I think this comes, and I know we'll talk about this real fast, but I think this comes down to that idea of it was so reactionary for all of us who enjoy just video games and the press and everything. And it wasn't all right, they're going to give us something in 3 days and we all just go nuts on the speculation. And I think that's where a lot of our, as people who just like video games, a lot of our like disappointment comes from. So with this, like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, oh, it's here. Here's the PlayStation. Here's the Xbox Series S. Here's the prices. Here's the release date. And all of us were like, all right, cool. Yeah, thanks for this. This is great. It finally, there's no more secrets, I guess, if you will. Like we're all not sitting on pins and needles, like us at Playhouse and every people who are trying to cover this stuff going, when is this crap going to drop? Please.
Right. And in the spirit of speculation and hype, do you think, I'm going to hold you to a bet right now. Okay. Do you think...
Dude, how many bets do we have? You and I have a bet already. All right, let's go. Let's do it.
Do you think the PS5 disc version over or under Xbox Series X price?
Okay, so my first initial thought on this one was disc version was going to be $599.
Okay.
I really, really thought that, and I think now because of how positive Microsoft and Xbox came out with the leaks, I think they actually have to go toe to toe at $499. I don't think you can pull it off correctly if you do go $599, because I mean there's still a lot of us who still remember the $599 PS3, and so you don't want to be like related. You don't want that line connecting each other. I think you have to come in at $499, and I'll even say it for the discless version. I say $399. Money wise, I don't think you can go to $299 on that one. That, I mean, thinking about profit margins, because I mean, most systems sell for loss, right?
Yes.
I don't think you can drop the discless version to $299. That is a huge drop. And why would you buy a disc version if the discless version is $299 and has the same exact stats? Like Sony cannot do that. Like financially, shouldn't do. Let me rephrase that. You shouldn't do that. I don't know if they will. You shouldn't though, because you do want at least you'll get it into the hands of people, and I follow that. But I think that is almost too much of a profit loss, or at least a loss in everything that you put into it. I don't see it happening. I think $499 and $399.
Right. That's
what are you thinking?
That's what is in my head as well. I was mentally preparing myself for a $599 reveal, like just so I was ready when that happened. I just don't think after the PS3, I think there's still some trauma there. I don't think they're gonna do that again. Even if it's $550, they will not put up $599 on the screen. They will not do it.
I will give it a plus or minus 50. $550 I can see them doing. That's still away enough from the $599. But no, I'm with you. I actually personally I budgeted out $700 on both of them.
Right.
I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. $700 I can put to the side and be ready to pick up both of these consoles.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Xbox coming in at $499, I'm like, thank you, Papa Phil. And then I'm really interested to see, like, this is the part of the console wars that I love. I'm like, all right, Xbox got their jab in. What's Sony going to return with? And that's the fun part to me.
Right. Console wars are fun if you make them fun and don't get
fun.
Yeah.
Like you and me and most of us, we're not like full-on fanboys of a specific one. It's just I want to see them go back and forth and the light jabs. And
you already said you're getting both consoles.
Yeah, I'm getting both consoles. Yeah, you don't have to worry about winning me over. I'm getting both consoles.
Yeah.
So I'm good that way. I just like this part. This is the fun part of a console generation launch.
So let me ask you: are you getting the X or the S?
Oh, I'm getting the X.
Oh, 100%. Okay. Yeah.
I'm getting the X, and and weirdly enough, Rose and I were talking about this. I'm probably going to do that financing plan.
Right. I'll pull that up right now because that's also a super, super helpful point. So $25 a month it's called Xbox All Access, the financing plan. Yes. $25 a month for the S, $35 a month for the X. This whole like different SKUs thing, beyond just like Phil's commitment to like blurring generations, just seems to me like a way to try and get as much of the market in there as possible, giving people options, trying to give people next gen the cheapest possible way they can get it. I think the finance plan is super, super good for that.
It's smart, especially again in a pandemic year. It's easier. I was reading that article too, and it sounds like you're still going to have to pay the taxes on it, because that's usually how we do with phones. Like they're financed out for 2 years, but you have to pay the taxes on it. So like the Galaxy Note 20, you still have to pay like $170 down because you got to kill that one first. But then the payment plan is toward the actual cost of the phone. And I want to say I was reading through some of the like nitty gritty when it came to that specific financing plan from Xbox. Well, through Xbox, it's another company, and you still have to pay the taxes like right there. But then it's really the, like you said, $24.99 for the S, and then $34.99 for the X, plus the 2 years of Game Pass. And
you want to talk about
come out cheaper.
You want to talk about value? An Xbox Series S with Game Pass, you're set. You're set. Like, you get every Microsoft first-party exclusive, a bunch of great indies, and just like games they add like retroactively all the time. And now it's probably a good a time as any to segue to. They also announced the following day that EA Play is coming to Xbox Games Pass at no extra cost.
That when I saw that come over my phone, I'm like, no. This is a lie. Let me double check on that. There's no way.
Right. And
then I dug in. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a deal. I mean, even when it's like, all right, we all know EA gets some hate. I get it. I understand why. But some of their like Titanfall 2 is still a great game. And you've got some good games coming through with Game Pass and EA All Access. Like you get 60 EA games. I mean, like you said, you're set.
Yeah.
You don't need to buy disc. Why am I buying a Series X for third-party games? Is that weird?
Yeah. No, it's totally like normal, and I think that's what a lot of people like. The one like downside in terms of the Series S I can see is out of the box 500 gig of storage,
Yeah.
which probably it doesn't sound future proofed in terms of next gen
Mhm.
games. But for people who like buy an Xbox for the Madden of that year and the COD of that year, this is the perfect box for
That's
them.
perfect.
And
So
yeah,
I mean,
um,
and you're right because it's a big investment when it comes to the series. And I'm with you. The Series S, you're gonna get what, maybe 2, 3 games to be able to download
mhm,
because of that 500 gig hard drive.
right.
So that I'm with you on. I think that was not a misstep, but I think since we're in Gen 1 of this future of the new generation, I wouldn't be shocked if after that 2 year mark or in the 2 year mark, they upgrade that version of the Series S to a terabyte and then the Series X to like 2 terabytes or however they want to do it. But yeah, right now, I actually agree with you. The Series S is not fully future proofed with games, for
Mhm.
games.
Uh, there's a fun little tidbit I want to bring up here before we stop talking about Xbox.
Okay.
I can't remember what show this was in particular, but it was some Xbox showcase where Phil
Mhm.
Spencer was on screen in his home office. The Xbox Series S is so small that he has it on a bookcase
Yes.
behind him, and just nobody noticed.
No, no one noticed it. Yeah, it was. I know. I think IGN tweeted out something, and then I think he did a pot. I don't know why Felicia Day. No, 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 no. It was iJustine. Actually, was like we did a interview with Phil Spencer, and the Series S was right there in his cabinet the
Right.
entire time, and no one picked it up.
hmm
So
That's such a
I
Phil
see you,
Spencer
Phil.
move, dude.
I see you. Wink.
Tim in chat asking a very good question. What's the PS5 memory size? I believe it's something strange. It's
Nine.
not a
It's
terabyte. It's like
no.
800 something
Yeah,
gigabytes.
860 or 9. Yeah, it's not a full terabyte.
Yeah,
It's something very very odd.
right. Yeah, they wanted to give more than the 500 gigs, but they couldn't commit to a terabyte, it sounds like. And then when you think about, I don't know if that includes what the system data is going to be for that, so who knows.
I just looked it up. The PS5 is going to have 825 gigs.
Right. Which is fair. Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like if you're going for the digital edition, you'll probably need to expand.
Mhm.
It's just necessary, and they've already talked about, like, both sides have already talked about options for
Yeah.
expanding their drives, which is going to be weird in a world of SSDs. But we'll see how it goes, I guess.
Yeah, because we'll have the expansion port, another terabyte from Xbox, and Sony doesn't have anything like that one, but both of them work USB like 3.0s for
mhm,
your normal expansion bays. And they said, but if you want the hard drive, the SSD, and the data transfer, you need like move it off of the hard drive, the external, and put it onto the actual console hard drive to actually get the someone was saying something loaded for 2 seconds and
mhm.
it was ready to go,
Yeah.
which is insane to me.
Like, when will we have time to check Twitter while gaming
Yeah,
if there's no load screens, Um,
I,
what was I gonna say? Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna. I'm undecided on whether I'm going digital or disc next
mhm,
gen. Purely because I thought I was set on disc, but
yeah,
for some reason, a lot of
it,
developers and a lot of games are like saying, giving exclusive rewards and encouraging the purchase of their digital edition,
yeah,
which I don't know where that comes from or what the benefit to them is. But like, Crash was the first one where it's like, get the digital edition to get these skins. And I'm like, why do you care if I get the digital edition?
yeah. I mean, I wonder if that's the because we've all like speculated like if we go digital, does it cut out the middleman and does more money go to the devs,
Mhm.
or all of us hoping that it becomes a little bit cheaper to go digital since you are cutting out of the middleman. I don't know. I'm with you because I've been going back and forth on that one too. Like the X, I will probably get the disc version,
Mhm.
but since the first all digital I went with was the Switch, and I absolutely love being able to jump into any game I want real fast without switching anything out. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe I do want to get that digital edition. I'm not sure yet.
Right. So we'll see what Sony has to respond with next week, and we'll talk about it in next week's show. We'll also probably do live reactions to that. I know I'll be here ready to do that. So yeah, same twitch.tv Playhouse Live. We'll be doing live reactions to that with whoever's about. But until then, it's time to move on to our next story, which was the other big sort of showcase this week, which was the Ubisoft Forward. Now, before we get into like what was actually announced at the show, I want to talk a little bit about what happened before, which was just a weird blunder that they didn't seem to want to do. So, Ubisoft tweeted out, let me see if I can pull it up here. They tweeted out a message from Yves Guillemot, Ubisoft's CEO, talking about the recent misconduct allegations, talking about the controversy surrounding Tom Clancy's Heroes. I forget what that game was called, but supposedly undercutting the Black Lives Matter movement. And so, yeah, they released this 4-minute video on their Twitter thread 3 hours before the Ubisoft Forward show. And in the message, they talk about a lot of things. They talk about certain employees didn't uphold Ubisoft's values. Systems failed to protect the victims of behavior. They're going to remove and sanction those in breach of values, and they've already been doing that in some extent with the creative director of Valhalla leaving his post and stuff like that.
That was weird.
Yeah. Promoting diversity and inclusivity being top of the agenda. And then they talked about, they didn't even name it, which is why I don't have the name off the top of my head, but they said one of our most recent mobile games included content that was inappropriate, and they reiterated that they fully support the Black Lives Matter movement.
It was Tom Clancy's Elite Squad.
Right, that was the thing. So yeah, the message itself, the video itself, there's nothing in it that is particularly wrong, or I think I was quite pleased with the actual messaging itself and how Yves delivered it. But rightly pointed out by many in the replies below, asking, is this going to be included in your Forward presentation in 3 hours' time that's happening, and that way more eyes will be on than this random tweet you put out. And they put out this auto-generated response basically saying like, hey, we hear you, due to time constraints, we can't put this in live, which is shocking to me. Like, how is that possible? 3 hours before show, you can't, like, Adobe Premiere Pro it.
We can put stuff in live real fast, and we have bare minimum concepts. And
I set up this whole show 30 minutes before. It looks fine.
You cannot tell me
yeah.
that you could not have grabbed this and just dropped it in at the very beginning of the show. Like, even if it's like, all right, looking at it from a production standpoint, point A, Yves. All right, Yves done. Timer for like 2 minutes, and then flip over to the actual Forward. I'm sorry, that's a load of crap.
Yeah, no.
You could have done it.
Don't buy it for a second. This is clearly like they wanted to bury this in among all their other announcements, and that just seems really shady to me and defeating the purpose of the video. Like, if you hadn't released the video even, it wouldn't have looked as bad.
Exactly.
And
then I think today, as we're recording this, they actually, Ubisoft added it into and re-uploaded the Forward.
Well, it's funny you should say that. I'll check again. They said
about that?
They said they were going to do that in their replies. They said we'll add it in to the VOD later.
Okay.
Right before we started the show, I checked again. There is no video inserted in there.
I just saw a tweet and I was like, okay, that's cool, and I didn't go in and check on it. I was like, all right, fine.
I will check again right now, the Ubisoft YouTube channel, just to make sure. But I didn't see anything. Which, sorry, goes back to the thing where it's like, you're just lying. You're just being disingenuous. Yeah.
You just have 2 file sources. It just goes, boop.
Like,
and upload YouTube.
Nobody at Ubisoft Montreal has a PC powerful enough to render it in that time. No one. Not one.
Oh my god, that blows my mind. Like, the mishandling of this.
Yeah.
Well, I'm with you. Yves' message, yes. I good on you, Ubisoft, for reacting this. I get it. Do better. But come on, we could have all, like you said, everyone could have seen this when we were all looking forward to this Forward, and we could have just dropped that into real fast, because time constraints. Did Yves film this 3 hours before this started?
Right. Yeah, I'm looking again here. They just have the live stream VOD up, which doesn't have the
Okay.
video in it, and yeah, there's been no like re-upload. I can't see anything here, so yikes. So yeah, boo Ubisoft in that regard. You can do better. I hope you do better in the future.
And they're probably all working from home. I get that. And so yeah, I do understand the little bit of separation, but that when was the forward? It was on Wednesday, right?
Yes, Wednesday, I believe.
And it's Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that then.
Okay. Yeah. So Ubisoft bad. But as for the announcements itself, we'll try and run through everything. But there's a lot here, so we'll probably only give brief mentions. They started off with Immortals: Phoenix Rising, previously known as Gods and Monsters.
Yeah, about that.
Probably the worst name change in the history of games I can think of.
I second that actually.
Like Project Octopath Traveler was bad, but at least it was hilarious. That's a hilarious name. Gods and Monsters was a great name for that game. What is Immortals: Phoenix Rising? What does that mean? Why is it such a mouthful?
Actually, you're right. It is a huge mouthful, and I lean toward. I mean, Gods and Monsters there's a movie, there's a book, and so I wonder if it was like a actual rights to Gods and Monsters.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could have changed "and" to an ampersand.
Change it to Monsters and Gods.
Monsters and Gods,
Yeah.
or like put a 3 instead of an E. I have no idea, but that sounded more awesome than Immortals: Phoenix Rising, and
Yeah.
which I don't know. I'm a Marvel fan, so I'm kind of like Immortals. Like, isn't it called Immortals? Doesn't that come out next year or 2 years now?
Right.
Like, I am very confused by Phoenix, Fenyx.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm supposed to. Okay.
I was looking at like Twitter responses, and like someone pointed out the only game name that I can remember with that many syllables in it is Horizon Zero Dawn, which is 7. And that you can even shorten it to Horizon.
Horizon.
I can't figure out a way to shorten this name. Immortals.
EFR. Or no,
Phoenix.
IFR. I'm sorry.
IFR.
IFR.
Dude, you want to play IFR? Nah.
Nah. The coolest game, IFR, right now. Like,
it's sad because the game looks really cool and I want to play it.
Does it?
I think it does.
Does it though? I watched.
What do you think about it?
Okay, I put it in our Discord. It really looks like Fortnite had a baby with like, just it. I watched the reveal trailer. We went back and watched the reveal trailer, and then we watched this trailer. And I don't know. I was more excited for the game last year than I am this year, because at least, and maybe it needs to be a little more fresh air. It needs to kind of get out there a little bit more. It doesn't seem like exploration, because Gods and Monsters, old trailer, seemed like it was like exploring. And I know it got like a lot of crap for like, oh, it's just Breath of the Wild from Ubisoft. Is that a bad thing? And now it looks like just hack and slash and a PG-13 version, or heck, a PG version of God of War. Like, I'll take the Breath of the Wild version just because it seemed more mysterious to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now I saw the game, I'm like, okay,
yeah,
I'll probably play it. Yeah, but
I will admit that initial trailer they showed at this Forward did a godfall, right? The music was totally off and totally weird, and I hated it. And I was like, why would there be a rap song in Greek mythology? Why is that? Those two things don't mix.
I'm pretty sure I did what Microsoft did with the puppet. And I'm like, I was just like, am I supposed to be watching that? Is this what the cool kids want? I don't know how I'm supposed to react to this.
However, I get what they were trying to do, because this is by the team who made Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And I think since that was a Greek mythology game, they're trying to distance themselves from that as much as possible. They're trying to say, this is not serious, this is fun. This is supposed to be dumb fun. And so like that's why it's a cartoony art style. And yeah, again, like I thought it was cool that the map isn't Greece, because in Odyssey, the map was Greece, like real world Greece. Yeah. But in this, it seems to be like some sort of fictional world based off the lore of Greek mythology.
And
Like
it's
there were,
Zeus and
yeah,
Prometheus are narrating this.
yeah. It mentioned in the trailer that like you are one of the few, or like Hephaestus, Zeus, and Prometheus are like the few gods left. So like
Yeah.
most of them are dead or whatever.
What happened?
The commentary is just in Prometheus, just for me being a mythology nerd, is a very cool thing, but like I doubt it will get as dark as that story could be based off the tone of this game. But yeah, like I get that people are saying like this game is just Breath of the Wild meets Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's totally uninspired. Again, not a bad thing at all.
No, I mean, if you're pulling from things that are good, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, I mean, I get with you. Like, maybe it's just Immortals Phoenix Rising is what's rubbing me the wrong way.
Turning me off, yeah.
I don't know. Like, and I do want to get it in my hands. I do want to play it because maybe I am being too hard on it. I'll fully admit to that. But I don't know. Just something about it. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
This is the brief portion of the show where I rant about the Fantasy League, right? I counterpicked this game because I thought there was no way that by the end of 2020 that the holiday period Ubisoft could release Valhalla, Watch Dogs Legion, and this. How are those three games right next to each other? Like, did they just want to be the console release slate? Is that what they want?
No, I mean, we all know Ubisoft loves to like bolster their like launch titles or their titles with launch consoles. I mean, let's be honest, Xbox doesn't have anything. Yeah, I'm probably gonna get Immortals Phoenix Rising, or no, I'm gonna be cool. IFR. I'm gonna be playing that because what else am I gonna be playing? I'll have Game Pass, which is great. And then probably I'll pick up Valhalla, probably on the Xbox.
I'm gonna be cool.
I'm gonna be cool, guys. But no, I'm with you. Like it's crazy how much. And since we're in that fantasy league, I did not think all three of those games were going to launch at the end of 2020.
Right.
On top of my game, but I kind of hate that loss. That's I hate that so much.
But they are Immortals Phoenix Rising coming out 3rd of December 2020. If it's December, it could get pushed, but that's all I'm saying. But that's coming out for Stadia, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, Epic, and Uplay.
Okay, I have to ask you real fast. How did you feel about Stadia just randomly showing up there in the forward?
It seems to just be poking its head in different places.
I was like, "Hey kids, Stadia here. You remember me?" And we're like, "What? No, go away."
Do you want to make another bet?
We didn't even finish the first bet. Like, what happens if one of us wins or loses on the price of PS5?
You bet under. I bet. I don't know. It's just a bet. All right, we'll figure out after.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, what are we doing?
This bet, I want you to tell me: will Stadia make it to the end of 2021?
Ooh, I like this.
Will Stadia make it?
Okay, I first say no. Because I have no idea what's going on with their actual like development team. Like they have their own specific development team developing games for Stadia.
Yeah, Stadia Originals or whatever. Yeah.
Where is that? And we all know Google, they don't like supporting things for very long. Like Stadia might have a good 4-5 years tops and releasing something that is fairly good, which I'm assuming is probably going to come from their development team.
It's going to be one of two things in my head.
Oh man!
It's going to be either they just tank as Google. They'll just kill anything. Like even if people like it and use it, they'll just kill it because they're not making money off it. It's either going to be that like randomly in March or something that happens, or the only way I could see it succeeding is, especially with xCloud coming onto the market, that Stadia allows you to download their games. If that happens, I could see them lasting a little bit longer.
Ooh, you bring up xCloud though. I mean, xCloud already comes with Game Pass.
That's what I mean. If xCloud is coming with Game Pass, I find it hard to believe that Stadia would just be able to offer a streaming service and not let you download and like exist in that market. The same with PS Now. PS Now, for the most part, just lets you stream stuff unless it's PS4. So,
there are certain things they allow you to. Okay, I'll take the over. I'll say they actually get out of 2021, like hobbling and Google's giving it life support. But I'll take the over on that one. I'll say they at least get to 2022.
I'll take that bet. They are dying.
All right.
They are dying in
All right, let's
March.
go. Let's do it.
So yeah, what the fuck were we talking about?
Ubisoft.
Ubisoft Forward, right. The next thing they announced that also leaked before the show, as is tradition for Ubisoft, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake. John, how much have you played or know about Prince of Persia?
Okay, so I played a little bit of the original one, the remake that we're getting, but I played more of like the cell shaded version of that one of Prince of Persia. I'm not the biggest fan, but again, like I'll try it. I've heard nothing but good things about Prince of Persia, and this is something fans have been wanting for a while. I'm very unfamiliar with it. Like I said, the most I played was probably 6 hours ish of the cell shaded one on the 360 PS3 era. I mean, I saw the Jake Gyllenhaal movie. Does that count? Please don't kill me in the comments.
I've also seen the Jake Gyllenhaal movie, and that is the extent of my knowledge with Prince of Persia. It was just
mine too.
It passed me by. I did find it cool though. A few months before this was even rumored, there was like a leak of a gameplay video from like the PS3 days of a Prince of Persia game that they had in development that looked really, really good in that random gameplay demo. And I guess that just died. I guess this, like remakes tend to do, this is like testing the waters if there's any interest in the franchise. People reacted positively, and there seems to be a lot of love and care going into the remake. I believe it's either an Indian-based studio or a lot of Indian members on the team involved in this.
I think it's I think it is a studio. Yeah,
because they had the woman in the forward like presenting this and talking about it and the cultural heritage behind it.
Which I'm all behind. I think that's great.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool.
And I didn't know Yuri Lauren. How do you pronounce his name? The voice actor Yuri Lowenthal.
I have no idea who that is.
Oh, he played Peter Parker in the Sony's Spider-Man. That came out. Yeah, he's also the prince. I had no idea he was the voice of the Prince of Persia.
Neither did I. Which,
I was like, oh, hey, look at
that. So that's cool. I always dig a classic franchise being revived. Especially in this way, like using the Crash Spyro formula. Super into that. That's coming out in January 21st. PlayStation, Xbox, you playing Epic Games. A theme running through these announcements seem to be boycotting Steam for an unknown reason. Probably because there's some sort of Epic deal.
Well, no, that and doesn't Ubisoft has like Uplay Plus coming out?
Yes.
I remember them announcing that. So maybe that's their, instead of Steam, you come over to Uplay Plus.
Right, and anything that's coming to Uplay is coming to Uplay Plus in this list. So yeah, it's coming to that as well. But it's still on Epic, I guess. So whatever. Yeah. They have the money. Speaking of classic franchises being revived, Scott Pilgrim versus the World Complete Edition.
I am freaking excited for this one.
Yeah?
I love that game so much.
Talk about the game, because Scott Pilgrim, again, another thing I have I'm blinders on.
So, like, I've got the comics. I've never read them though. My introduction was actually the movie. So I got into that one, and then I started kind of backfilling and just kind of getting an idea of what's going on and what Scott Pilgrim is. But I mean, it's a side-scrolling beat 'em up, and goddamn, is that game hard. Right. Like I don't think I even beat the second level on Scott Pilgrim, and I absolutely cherish this game because it's so like full of references, and it's the good references that you kind of like, the KOs and all that stuff, like it and it's familiar and it's not overdone. It's just sprinkled in correctly and it feels great. The game, I remember it playing great. I have not loaded up my 360 to play it again. I don't have to now. But like that is a day one. I am downloading that bad boy on my Switch, and I'm just gonna go through it and probably rage. But I remember it just being so like sharp with the controls and just the whole concept of the game, and it just fantastic.
John, that sounds like a redemption stream. The perfect setup for a redemption stream. That Couch Capades, you will finish this game finally after all these years.
I've got a couple of those planned. I'm looking at you, Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah. You seem you seem to be sadistic in your game choices, and so that sounds perfect for you.
I don't know why I do what I do.
So that is, again, and possibly also coming out holiday 2020, which I guess can include January. But yeah, another Ubisoft title coming out in that space. Weird. And then there was a little bit of an interlude where I'm just going to like breeze over this because I don't think you or I are qualified to talk about it. Rainbow Six Siege World Cup.
I actually really respect the Rainbow Six community.
Right.
And I've never played the game. I've watched a little bit of it, and I think it's badass, but that's about it.
And then they talked a little bit about Sam Fisher coming to the game as a playable character. Mm-hmm. I'm sure this is not the way a lot of people would have liked Sam Fisher to appear in this Ubisoft Forward.
According to the internet, no.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all you're gonna get. So yeah, don't hope, don't believe.
Here's Sam. There you
go. never dream, anyone. And then yeah, there was another lengthy demo of Watch Dogs Legion, which I think now we're overdoing it. I think we've seen enough of that game.
Yeah, we don't need it anymore.
Yeah, they went over the like recruitment in depth. Just a lot of stuff.
I liked when they showed it the first Forward. That was fine. Mm-hmm. You gave me enough that like my palate was interested. I'm how are we gonna do this?
Yeah.
Now I'm with you. I'm like, we're into the point where I'm like, just shut up, please.
Yeah.
Just stop. The more you tell me, the more I'm like, all right, I know too much. There's no intrigue when playing a game now.
The thing I did think was interesting was when they talked about two characters being added to the game. First one, Stormzy, the actual real life rapper person, and also Aiden Pierce from the first Watch Dogs game. Both recruitable.
I think that's cool.
Very cool, and I think sets up a precedent for the future where they can just like keep dropping in random characters, whether it's from their games, whether like Rayman shows up and leads the resistance, or whether it's like more celebrities like Ed Sheeran shows up for some reason. It's like, hey, I'm playing a guitar, you know. But like they can just keep dropping those like month after month. Like, hey, you can recruit the Queen in Watch Dogs Legion now. She can join you.
Okay, let's be honest. That would be really freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know what laws that actually break in England, but that would be pretty awesome.
I bet it does break some defamation law or something. Yeah, no, I think that'll be cool. I think there's a lot of cool possibilities with that. What if you just had a guy wearing Rayman's clothes and like
I see that being a Ubi thing though. I think they'll do that.
Right, you could like call him Ray, and then like he has, because it's the future, he has like invisibility things on his arms and his legs, so he looks like Rayman walking around, except he's human, so he's a monstrosity.
I mean, we know that the teams that work on Assassin's Creed always hint and leave little like tidbits of what's the next Assassin's Creed. I 100% see them just like, here's a dude with like Rayman on his shirt, and you're like, hey, what's your name? Oh, my name's Ray. What do you do? I go invisible, and it just breaks on him, and it literally is his arms go. That would be amazing.
Right.
That's DLC I will most likely pay for just to watch it happen.
Potential third bet.
Oh, crap. You know, I know we were going to call this Playhouse Live or Playhouse Weekly. Why don't we just call it Finn and John Bet the Moon when it comes to video games?
Potential, just because I think this is really interesting and it could be really fun.
Let's hear this.
Will a Nintendo inspired character be added to Watch Dogs Legion? This
Absolutely
is coming
not.
from not one.
No.
Not an Italian guy called Mario whose occupation's a plumber.
As much as I would 100% love that, I think the Star Fox game that is a Star Fox game but nothing else really soured Nintendo and Ubi's relationship. I know, because we were all looking forward to this year them announcing something new, but I don't think so at all. I think what was that game? The Toys to Life spaceship shooter game.
Starlink. Starlink Battle for Atlas.
Starlink, yeah. I think that really screwed over a relationship, a working relationship between Ubisoft and Nintendo.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I'm sure it'll be like, you might find a red plumber, but I think that's probably it. But I would be shocked. I will take the no on that one.
I'm taking that bet. You're
All
wrong.
right.
You're gonna go
All
down
right.
some great somewhere, and there's gonna be like.
There's gonna be a plumber just working on something in red overalls,
or like just an overly hairy man called DK. It's just like walking around.
Okay,
Keep
I'm
in
not
mind,
gonna lie. I would love that part. I
yeah,
think that would be great.
not a Nintendo character because that's ridiculous, but a Nintendo inspired character,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm taking that bet. Rose points out in chat, methinks Finn has a gambling problem, and you're absolutely right.
What will Finn bet John today?
I like confrontation. I like controversial opinions conflicting with each other. I just like to play.
Let's go.
But yeah, and then the final thing from Ubisoft Forward that was announced and shown off is a new IP called Riders Republic.
Hey kids, you want to be cool and go downhill? Dog. That's literally what I thought of it. It did it overstay the welcome? Like, I was watching it at the beginning. I'm like, all right, this is cool. I'd be fine jumping in, buying this game, friends, just doing some crazy shit. And then we're 7 minutes into this thing, 5 minutes, and I'm like, okay, I don't need any more. You can stop.
John, I was like, because I was watching it afterwards, I wasn't watching it live, so I was watching the VOD, and I was like playing Tetris on the other screen. I'm sure they said the name at the start. I thought for like the first 5 minutes it was Steep 2. I thought that's what it was.
Too. I actually was like, we were watching the VOD too, and I looked at Rose. I'm like, is this Steep 2? The first thing out of Rose's mouth was, "What's Steep?" That's right. That's probably the right answer, actually.
Yeah, that's correct.
But yeah, I thought it was Steep 2, and then it became I don't even remember. Riders Republic.
Riders Republic, yeah. In my head, the like good comparison I was drawing when all the bikes are going down the hill, I thought of Fall Guys. And I thought this will be a great game to stream because it'll just be chaos going down that mountain.
And that's what I want to know. Like, is everyone just there?
Yeah.
Like, or do you not like go down the hill along with 80 other people behind you, and you're like, what's more hazardous, this giant cliff or the 80 behind me?
That seems to be what they're selling, and I hope they lean into that Fall Guys version of it. Like, I want to be able to, like, just riding on a bike, I want to be able to just, like, punch, like, left and right, just randomly.
So you want, like, dirt bike road rage?
Yeah.
God, Road Rage was such a great game. But, you know, that actually sounds kind of cool, though. I'd be okay, like, you just get knocked off, you grab your bike, and you throw it somewhere and trip up someone else.
100 riders at the top of the hill, only one will make it to the bottom. You know? But, like, no, you see, like, tons of videos like GTA 5 people doing that, like, going to the top of Mount Chiliad and just, like, going down the bikes and, you know, bumping into each other. But, like, with 100 people, that would be nuts. Yeah, that'd be really fun.
I'd be okay with it. Actually, if they turn into that, I'm with you. That'd be a lot more fun than just, brah, you want to go down, ride a bike? No, I don't.
They're just slating that for current and next-gen systems at this point. They wouldn't say which. But I assume that means not the Switch. So yeah,
still waiting on Steep for the Switch, honestly. Still waiting.
That's coming out February 2021. Riders Republic, not Steep. So yeah,
like, wow, hey, good.
Scoops. So yeah, that's all from the Ubisoft Forward. I thought it was decent. Other than the controversy surrounding the start of it, it was like short and sweet. I think directs are good. But everyone trying to have their own direct, you can only do so much.
It's getting it's getting a little too much. Honestly, from personally my end, like I'm fine with like giving me just these giant chunks of this is what's happening. But now it's like, all right, well, we've got to tease something in front of you. Here's what we're doing. Come back in 2 months. Here's what we're doing. And didn't they say we're gonna get one more this year? I thought I heard them say that.
Possibly, I didn't hear that. I didn't retain that.
I don't remember, but I'm like, oh man, and don't get me wrong, I love watching these announcement stuff, but it comes a point when I'm like,
yeah,
just give me the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, give me a demo or get out.
Demo, yeah.
So yeah, moving on. This is going to be a short one, but I think it's important, especially all the gaming stuff surrounding Apple at the minute. I'm just going to read this quick paragraph. Apple issued new App Store rules earlier today, permitting game streaming services like xCloud or Stadia to exist on iOS or iPadOS. If you remember, xCloud and Stadia are currently not able to get onto iOS at all, the way things happen. With a big catch, Apple wants companies like Microsoft to individually submit their games as separate apps using its streaming tech. Microsoft and Google are free to create a catalog-style app that collects and links out all of these individual apps as well. Microsoft isn't impressed, and they had this to say. This remains a bad experience for customers, says a Microsoft spokesperson. Gamers want to jump directly into the game from their curated catalogue within one app, just like they do with movies or songs, and not be forced to download over 100 apps to play individual games from the cloud. We're committed to putting these games at the centre of everything we do, and providing a great experience is core to that mission. And then, that article goes on. That's from The Verge, Tom Warren at The Verge. It's... Why are Apple doing this?
Yeah, I don't like understand this one, because I it's a weird precedent, and I guess for me, even if I had xCloud, doesn't mean I'm downloading all 100 games onto my phone.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I'm downloading one, or I'm streaming it from me sitting in my bedroom from my Xbox, which is the node technically to that. I'm not downloading 100 games.
Yeah.
And then to me, and this is where I went with it, is the precedence of this. So does that mean like Netflix and their Netflix only shows need to do the same thing for movies or TV shows?
That's it. They don't. And Microsoft brought that up in the quote. Netflix don't need to do it. Streaming services for music and movies don't need to do it. There seems to be like a target on games, and I think there's two possible reasons for this, like randomly targeting games. I think one is what we've seen before. Apple make a lot of money from games, and they want their 30% cut. And I think the way they set up their guidelines is they get a 30% cut from each of the individual games that way, and that's why they're so stringent on it. We've seen it before with Fortnite. They really I think the way xCloud want it done, where it's just putting xCloud on iOS, maybe they would just get the revenue from that subscription alone, that 30% cut. But who knows? I don't know if that's the thing. But the other thing I think is really interesting to think about, and I'm just going to pull this up here so I can talk about it. Apparently, Apple have this sort of weird vendetta against games, and that goes all the way back to Steve Jobs and the fact that he just did not like video games. And there was this blog post written by hold on, let me get the name because I forget what it was.
I had no idea about this. But I thought Jobs wanted to make a console at one time, didn't he? Am I misremembering that?
There were
there was that weird because now I remember seeing the weird box, and I don't remember what it's called, and it just never got off the ground.
Right. But yeah, they did try and integrate it in Apple TV somewhat, like years later. They made the joke game console for an April Fool's Day thing. They haven't seriously tried to venture into gaming since Apple Arcade. That's been this past year. But no, I thought this was really interesting. After Steve Jobs' passing, Ron Gilbert, who people, and especially Rose, might know, former LucasArts Games designer for the two Monkey Island games, among others, he wrote a blog post about meeting Steve Jobs, and I just want to read out this blog post in full. It's not long, but it's just really, really good. So, several years ago, I had the pleasure and privilege of meeting Steve Jobs. I had a meeting at Pixar, and I heard that Steve Jobs might be there. First thing I did was ask a good friend of mine that knew Steve Jobs what he was like and if there's any good advice she could give me. She said Steve Jobs is an incredibly intelligent and passionate person, and one piece of advice she had to offer me was, do not argue with Steve Jobs, and everything will go fine. Argue with Steve Jobs? He's probably one of the smartest people in the whole world and someone I have unequaled respect for. Why would I ever argue with him? I arrived at the meeting and went into the conference room. John Lasseter was there, who I casually knew from when Pixar was part of Lucasfilm, and we chit-chatted. A few minutes later, Steve Jobs comes in. He sat right across from the table from me, and the first words out of his mouth were, and I quote, "I don't believe you can tell stories in games." Now, Steve, he goes on to write, Steve Jobs could have told me the sky was green. He could have told me dogs gave birth to cats. He could have said just about anything, and I would have nodded thoughtfully and probably been totally convinced. But he had just to say that one thing in all question, and I could not let that go. I spent the next hour arguing with Steve Jobs. My advice, don't argue with Steve Jobs.
Okay.
And other people have reported that. I've seen other articles mention Steve Jobs didn't like games. He just didn't like them. Which I guess makes sense when you think about how Macs never really were able to like play games the same way as Windows
yeah.
were.
I mean, and just to be absolutely honest with thinking about that is, I want to say like Streamlabs just recently got Mac support
right.
within the last 6 months. So I mean, there is a little bit of weight to this now. Now I didn't even know that. That's interesting.
I found out about it while doing research for this.
Oh,
but it all makes sense. Like Steve Jobs just isn't a gamer. He just yeah.
Right, that's cool. I heard your Apple Arcade's doing well. I also know that a lot of your games are now coming to the Switch.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going to play them.
But despite that, like Tim Cook knows he can't ignore them. They make too much money for him, especially nowadays. They're going head to head with Fortnite for some unknown reason. And now they're like taking on xCloud and Stadia. We'll see how that works out for them. But yeah,
that'll be fun.
Super weird stance to take when things like Netflix and Spotify exist and they just have free reign. So yeah, we'll see how that develops in the coming weeks and whether xCloud will submit to the will. But first, and I will try and keep this light because I know we're already over time.
We thought of a time, and hey, look at that, we're already over.
Yeah, but so, unfortunately,
I'm gonna yield to you, my friend.
Unfortunately for all of you, it is now time to talk about Crash 4. It's about time. They released, and actually you were the one who linked it to me, John. They released a new trailer and an interview with an interview with the PlayStation Underground team. First of all, revealing Tawna is the last playable character. That's along with Cortex, Dingodile, and Crash and Coco as standard, which is way more than I expected. I thought maybe just Cortex would be playable from the start, but no, that all these different it's just it's so good. And then they also announced that if you pre-order, you'll get a demo next Wednesday, which I have absolutely done, and I will absolutely be playing.
Expect those first impressions on the Playhouse YouTube channel.
Possibly may also stream before or after the PlayStation reactions. We'll see how that goes. I have said this to a lot of my friends. Maybe I think I've said this to you before. Don't know if I've said it publicly on a stream, but I'm planting my flag. I think Crash Bandicoot 4 without a doubt is going to be the best Crash Bandicoot game. And that's before me even getting my hands on it. I think the amount of love and care and effort that Toys for Bob and Beanox are putting into this thing goes way beyond my wildest expectations. The dedication to the lore, that was already it was already going nuts. We talked about it in the first episode of Playdate, how invested they were with adding characters and stuff to CTR Night Rowfield. And now this seems to be going even further. I'm going to hold off on my thoughts until I get the game in my hands. But Toys for Bob, you're in my good books. You did Spyro right, you did Crash right. I cannot believe how good this game is, and if it doesn't get a 90 on Metacritic and add 20 points to my fantasy league, I'm going to be a bit annoyed.
There it is.
I'm going to be a little ticked off. But
okay,
no, seriously.
Okay, wait.
Okay, yeah.
Let me say something real fast, and then I know you're not prepared for me to say.
Okay.
I actually agree with you. I think this is going to be probably one of the best Crash games, the best Crash game. I really do. And I'm with you, the love and care that Toys for Bob is putting into this is absolutely insane. And yes, Finn, I'm going to plug ourselves. Yes, I will be playing it on youtube.com/couchcapades. I have to. So yes,
we got him.
I am 100% with you. That it actually looks fun. And you know my complaints with Crash, I have literally lost my shit on it.
He has been
think this actually looks great. Yes. I'm really, really excited for this.
Yes.
Because I want them to evolve the game to having mechanics that actually work. So yes, I actually agree with you.
Yes.
I want to agree with you. I want it to do good. I don't want to get it a 90 because I still want to win this fantasy league. But I will tell you that I do believe it's going to be good.
What I will say is they're adding a lot of things to the game, quality of life additions that I think you'll really appreciate. Number one, there being a little circle where your shadow should be more clearly indicated so that you know where you're landing.
That's all I wanted. God.
Number 2, they're changing the way the life system works to be a little bit more like Celeste. So you have the classic mode, which they actually don't recommend, where you have the standard system where you collect lives and then you game over if you're at 0. But the way they're doing it now is just like you can die as many times as you want, and the Wumper fruit that you collect, where they would have gone to lives before, are now just like collectible things that give you skins and stuff, I guess.
I'm good with that.
In saying that, this game looks way harder than any other Crash game I've seen. Especially if you're like me and you're a completionist and will need to find every nook and cranny in this game.
Nope, not me.
Oh, good God.
I'm just going to roll credits. I will say this, and I think I told you this. The part in one of the Crash games where it was just added on, I want to say it was like Crash 1.
Yes.
They added like a tower.
Yeah, it was a deleted...
I was unaware I didn't need to do that until after I did it with 3 lives. Maybe it was 4. And then when I went back, I'm like, this doesn't feel right. Why did I just do this? And it's on YouTube. And I looked it up and it was, oh, yeah, this is just a random thing you don't need to do. If you do it, make sure you have like 12 lives because it's going to suck. And I was like, okay. Surprised I didn't break a controller after that one.
Yeah. John, that was a level that was cut from the original game because it was too hard.
Yeah, I found that out real fast. There was a lot of raging in that episode.
To this day, I still haven't brought myself to get that time relic for that one. I've got the gem, I've completed the level. It's just the thing where you need to go through it in a certain time. I still haven't done it because I just keep dying.
Kudos to you for going, just doing that part. I'm like,
for the time relic, you don't get checkpoints. You have to start from the beginning every single time, and I just can't sit down and do it.
No.
And it's not even like you can ignore the boxes because the boxes are necessary. The boxes change into time boxes where you need to smash them to stop the timer. And so you need to hit every box.
No.
But yeah, like, even knowing that, for completionists, I think this will be a harder Crash game. And I think especially because they don't have the life system by default, I think you will die more in this Crash game than you've done in any other.
Probably.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. I'm going to say fun in this smile.
Yeah. And one last thing, just talking about the new character Tawna, by the way. Her design's changed up a little bit, and I've seen people like freak out about that because she looks different. It's an alternate dimension version of her, and I think she looks badass. That's all I want to say.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
She looks like a badass. She's like a pirate now.
Yeah.
And there'll be skins for her to change her look and stuff, but I think she looks great.
I love the character design too because I was like, I saw the side by sides and I was like, wow, that's a big change. And I was like, I didn't know it was an alternate dimension, so I was like, still badass. I dig the design that they changed it to. So it's good to know. But I'm with you. I think it looks badass.
All right, moving on to one last thing to get slightly mad at. In fact, I will go further and I will say quite mad.
Yes.
So, as reported by people on Reset Era, Control Ultimate Edition launched. I don't remember what day, but it was some day this week. And when it happened on the PlayStation Store, and I think other storefronts as well, people who had the Control Enhanced Edition just saw it as purchased. And so they were like, okay, I guess they're going back on what they said before. I'm just getting Ultimate Edition. I don't need to buy it again for next gen for no reason. That was then revoked 13 hours later. Which is...
So, and just to let everyone know too, like, to get to the upgraded version to next gen, you had to buy the Ultimate version of Control. And so a lot of people, because it was on sale, bought the Enhanced Edition. And then it was a day later, the Ultimate Edition dropped, and that's when 505 and Remedy, I just completely forgot the name, Remedy, they announced, like, oh, to get the next-gen PS5 Series X version, you had to buy the Ultimate Edition. And, bullshit.
Yeah, they said, and I quote, "The upgrade path that we are offering is only possible when upgrading from the same version of the game," which is why they wanted to make Control Ultimate Edition to just like have that be a package. It is no different, and they reiterated it's no different from the Enhanced Edition in terms of content. They just want a new thing, and they said it was impossible to upgrade. when people in that like 13-hour period while people saw the Ultimate Edition as purchased on their store, they went to launch it and it just launched the enhanced edition that they already had, proving that they're not two different versions of the game. It's literally the same version of the game that they launched.
Yeah, they're not two different SKUs.
No.
They're nothing like that. They are legitimately the same game.
So there is legitimately no reason for what they're doing, and I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't get I don't understand this one at all. I know Remedy and 505, I think it was last week, was talking about no, you only there's a way we're gonna do the upgraded version if you have the game on. I have the base game on the PS4. Mm-hmm. I haven't bought the enhanced edition. I didn't bought the ultimate edition because I don't know. I just thought of maybe the possibility that something that won a game of the year from a specific video game outlet would probably get that edition. And let's double down with I don't know, CD Projekt Red giving us a Xbox Series X version of The Witcher 3. It's a 5-year-old game, and we're getting an updated version of that game. So why are we not able to just upgrade to that one? And let me follow this by saying I get developers need to actually get paid. I want them to get paid. But this is so mishandled and like so much mud. Just like I don't know how like 505 and Remedy pulled themselves out of this one without going, hey guys, you know what? We were wrong. I apologize. Everyone gets you want an upgrade? You get an upgrade. You want an upgrade? You get an upgrade. Oh, hey, by the way, PS5 games or PS5 Now games or Plus games, we're going to go ahead and give you control for free as well. Because that's the only way they're going to be able to actually like really come back into good graces, in my opinion.
What I was going to say is I'm so lost in the sauce with smart delivery and next gen upgrades, and it almost makes me nostalgic for simpler times, like the lead up to this gen, where it was as simple as the PS4 can put in used discs, the Xbox can't, and then it could. I cannot wrap my head around smart delivery, and I am in the gaming news sphere 24/7. How are other people supposed to figure out what to buy when every company seems to be doing their own unique thing? And I don't quite get the difference between smart delivery and backwards compatibility. And Remedy are off doing their own shit, and Cyberpunk are doing their own shit.
Yeah, I'm actually with you on that one, because I know like some of the games that are coming out here in the holiday season are going to have the like Xbox One enhanced version included, and which is smart delivery, I believe, where you just pop the disc in and it goes, oh hey, Xbox version or Xbox Series X version, downloads those assets and you keep on going. So in theory, I have the Series X version of specific game, but I'm not 100% sure.
Right. It's going to make absolutely no sense until we actually are able to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm really, really hoping that you just grab a random game in your library, like legitimately, and for me for disc, and I'm going to pop it in the drive, and it's just going to pop up and go, hey, we have assets for Xbox Series X. You want us to download it? Or, hey, we have the PS5 version of this. Since you have the PS4, would you like to download it? I'm hoping it's as simple as that. And, I mean, the biggest thing I know is the PS5 has a different box, like in the sense of the discs themselves are different.
All right, yeah.
Have we seen the Series Xboxes?
I think we have. I think they look exactly the same. Okay. Which is, if you want to talk about naming conventions for the Xboxes and how that's confusing to the average consumer, and then you want to make the boxes the same color green as the One X and the Series X and the One S and the Series S, and you threw in our Discord the rumor of a Series V, I would explode.
Yeah. I actually do feel bad for mom and dads, grandma and grandpas who are going to go out and buy a game or a system for their kid the holiday season and not know there. I see an X, I see a V, I see an S, and what am I supposed to buy?
There's going to be a kid who has 2 Xbox Ones on Christmas Day because the mother or the grandma bought the wrong one.
Mm-hmm. I 100% agree with you on that one.
There was a great tweet. I can't remember who did it, but they stacked up all of the Xboxes to compare size-wise, and like just stacked them all together. And someone replied saying, like, I wonder, out of 10 people, who could discern which Xbox is which. And I had a go at it. I wasn't sure. It was like, okay, is that the One S or the One X? Is that the original Xbox? Because it's weird. They stacked.
Send me the tweak. I've got to see if I can do this.
Hold on, Xbox is stacked.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, as you're pulling that up, I'm with you. I don't know. I think I follow the enhanced editions and whatnot, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm with you. Like, I just don't quite fully grasp what is what is just backwards compatible, what is upgradable asset wise, what is next gen wise. Xbox side, at least Sony sort of has given. At least I've got a box. I've got a new box. I understand what Miles Morales is coming in this box. I got that. But like anything else, because I know even EA kind of threw a wrench in everything with Madden. And this year, like if you buy Madden 21, you have until like March of 2021. Hey, that sounds familiar. Of loading it into your, getting your next gen console, loading into the system, and getting the next gen version of it. Why is it so complicated?
So I threw the link to that tweet in chat. I'll pull it up on stream as well right now. So we're looking at this weird monolith of just Xboxes. Okay.
All right. I've got to pull it up on my phone real fast. Let's see if I can do this.
All right. Okay. I'm going to let you do it because I think I have a fair idea of which is which.
Right, hold on. Let me pull up a different screen. I can't zoom it in. I will do this real fast and let's see if I can pull this off. Okay.
Calcomics asks, in the meantime, isn't PlayStation 5 using 4K Blu-rays for their games? Yes, I believe both systems are. Okay. 4K Blu-rays for both, because both are outputting at 4K, so it makes sense that the disc is 4K for both.
Okay. So, very bottom one.
Mm-hmm.
That is a launch Xbox One.
Right. I agree with you.
The next one is Series S. No, I'm sorry. Xbox One S. Launch One S, One X, Series X, Series S.
Now, that's what I thought initially as well, and I have no idea what the right answer is here, but I'm going to point your attention to the white Xbox in the middle. I thought it was a 1S as well because it's white, and I have a 1S that's white, but does it make sense that the 1S would be bigger than the 1X above it?
Yeah, because Xbox announced when they announced the One X that it was the smallest Xbox that they've ever made at the time. So it is actually.
Okay.
Oh, Rose just ran in. So I got Rose. Rose just ran in. The one above, the white one, is the sad edition apparently.
What?
There's Rose is right. Looks like there's no disc drive, so it's the one, the 1S all digital edition, or the Xbox One SAD. That's what it was called. So yeah, I think she's right then. So it looks like we've got launch, 1S, SAD, Series X, Series S.
John, you have to explain SAD. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. So Xbox actually came out with an all digital edition. It was Xbox One S all digital, and so people started calling it the Xbox SAD. S all digital. Oh, I gotta get my hand in shot. That was what was going around. People were like, and it was dumb too because it launched at like $50 less than actually having a disc version.
This is
it
where
still might be the X though, because I'm looking at my X right now, and I don't remember if the SAD edition came in black. Now that I'm really thinking about this, because I can't see my disc drive from my One X right now.
The fact that they called it SAD, or like the all digital, that has to be for the memes. I refuse to believe that out of a team of hundreds of, possibly thousands of marketing people, not
I pay people to say things out loud. I'm like, maybe we should anagram this real fast.
Right.
No one ever went SAD.
Yeah, like I'm quite skeptical with conspiracy theories in games, and I'm quite aware of most things, and like what's real and what's fake. there are two conspiracy theories that I just locked onto. Is that the Xbox naming conventions is a meme, and Phil Spencer's just laughing it up, and that Ubisoft leaked their stuff intentionally, just because it happens too much.
I actually will. I'll jump on board with you on the Ubisoft one. I actually do think they like, hey, Walmart Canada, you want something? And they just like link up with them because there's got to be. I refuse to believe there's not some back alley shady deals going on with just to get hype going, or just because then you can actually understand what people are going to enjoy in a quick bubble concept. So I'll jump on the Ubisoft one with you.
Right. And then there's one more conspiracy theory you have, right? It's that Herman Hulst is a CGI robot and isn't really real the whole time.
Shit. It was his movements, and it was the blinking that caught me. I was like, that's not how a normal a human being blinks. Like, it was just so. I will plant my flag in the ground on that one. Is that everything we saw when the PlayStation 5 was announced? Some of the presenters were rendered in PS5.
Right. Well, I guess we'll find out at the event on Wednesday.
I actually really hope when we turn on the PS5, it's Herman Hulst right there, and he goes, surprise, and that's it. And it just keeps on going, and I'm like, I have been vindicated. Thank you.
Or like CG Herman Hulst opens the presentation and he starts talking normally, and regular human Herman Hulst walks in, and they just like do like a patty cake.
That would be great.
That'd be really funny. I'd love to do like a sketch of that if I could use Blender. I would make a CG Herman Hulst skit. But yeah, I think this is a good point because we're out of news stories. I think this is a good point to mention that we'll be doing this again next week. Yes. Before that, on Wednesday, we'll obviously be doing live reactions to the Sony thing. But yeah, this has been the first episode of what we're tentatively calling Playhouse Live. We hope you enjoy it. Yep. We want all the feedback possible because we have no idea what we're doing. We don't. Just absolutely no idea. It's supposed to be an hour. It's been an hour and 20 minutes so far. But yeah, please give us feedback. Tweet at John, not at me. Tweet at John.
Tweet at me. That's fine. JohnBox3414 or at CouchCapade. I will. Please
send all complaints to him. Send any crash-related news to me. And let us know how we can improve the show. I enjoyed doing this.
I did too. I had a blast.
Yeah, I think we're definitely on something here, and yeah, we'll be back doing this next week, hopefully. So yeah, we will see you then. Stay tuned. Stay locked to entertheplayhouse.com, our YouTube channel, Playhouse, our Twitch, which you're watching on right now. If you're watching live, Playhouse Live. And yeah, keep locked to
all podcasting services. Can we say that?
All podcasting. Yeah, we'll say it. Fuck it. Yeah, throw it out there. Yeah, this will hopefully, you might be listening to it right now, in which case you don't see our faces. And,
lucky you.
I could be flipping you off right now and you've no idea. So anyway, yeah, we'll hopefully see you back next week here for another one of these. Until then, we will see you guys later.